Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Hope you're having a great Wednesday afternoon so far. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so like I said, welcome in. We're going to give everybody a couple more minutes here to jump into the room. I'll get started around 1:05. I think we've got a good group in here already, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and then we'll take it from there. So, welcome in. My name is Alex Arizari. I operate on the customer success side here at InsuredMine. Today's webinar, we're going to cover some of the feature releases and updates that we've made to the InsuredMine platform in February and March. During this session, I'm going to provide a demo of the InsuredMine platform, walk you through a couple of the modules where we've had releases, and answer any questions you guys may have on those on those specific features. So, a little bit of the agenda, right? We're going to walk through the live demo. During that session, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to add them in the chat or using the Q&A button, and I'll do my best to answer all of those live. Once we've wrapped up the demo portion, I'll give a little more time for additional questions if they're needed. And then lastly, once we finish up Q&A, I have a few more slides just to wrap up with future webinar registrations and some of the other tools we have available to you guys. With all that said, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my InsuredMine demo portal so we can start taking a look at the new features. So give me 1 second. Okay. Awesome. Hopefully everybody can see the screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start taking a look at all of these items. To start with, our first feature update is going to be found in the header menu over here on the right side of the screen. If you click on the quick action dropdown, and then from here, we're going to select the send email option. Now, this is available anywhere you're sending an email communication. It's not limited to just the header, but if I click on send email here and we begin to type out the contents of my communication, and I start to figure out who I want to send this to. So typically, I would add my recipient here. I'll select their account from the dropdown. That maps the email back to that account and contact in InsuredMine. The enhancement that we've made to this email send functionality is that now when you click on the CC and the BCC options, you will notice a dropdown has been added on the right side, which will allow me to map a specific producer, manager, admin to this email thread as well. So if I'm sending this out as Leo and I wanted to make sure Adam is added in the CC, I simply select his name and it would automatically tag him there. Okay. Same thing for BCC. If I select an agent, it's going to autofill their email here on the line. That way I don't have to manually enter any other communication. like I said, this is not just limited to the header send. If I go into one of my test accounts and I attempt to send an email from here, I have the same functionality for agent adding, regardless of where I am in the portal trying to send this communication. Okay. Next up, we're going to go ahead and move over to the accounts module real quick. And honestly, since I've already got this test account pulled up, this is an easy opportunity for me to move over to the communications tab. So underneath communications, this is where we track any sent emails, any text messages, calls, workflows that have been running for this account. We're specifically going to focus on texts. Okay. From text, I can see any communications that have already been sent to this individual, but I can also see any text messages that are scheduled or upcoming. Okay. In this case, I have a scheduled text message that is set to go out next Monday morning. The enhancement we've made to this specific section is I can now edit a scheduled communication. So if I click on this edit button here, I can make changes to the content of the message. I can also make changes to when it is delivered, as well as tagging any files as well. When I click update, so let's just go. This is the test. The changes I have made will now take effect. You can see that's been added onto the body of this text. And I've also been given the option to archive a scheduled text message before it is delivered. So if I choose not to send this, I can click archive. I can confirm the archive, and then it is removed from the scheduled send list. I do see a couple questions. A second. Okay. Let me check chat. Okay, so I think I see Laura. Laura, you asked, with the show automation scheduled from pipelines here? No. So those are a separate tab. That would be workflows over here. This is any email communications that are sent. This is any text messages. So they have their own separate tag. For scheduled text messages, if I go in to deliver a text here, and let me just add the body of the email right here. This allows me to then schedule it rather than immediately sending. So when we talk about scheduled text messages, it's specifically in reference to this drop-down option, not necessarily automated text messages. Those will be managed in workflows. I think Liz asked, I'm not super familiar with text. If you're doing a mass text, does this change it for everyone? Or is this just the person who's receiving it? Yeah, so again, this is a individual text send that you were scheduling out to go to a client. It's not the same as if we go into engagement, the bulk text campaign, right? If we were to trigger a text campaign and we set it to send out 5 days from now, we could edit it up until the initial send, and that would impact everybody. What we're looking at on the account level, though, is an individual text message, which means if you make a change to it, it is only impacting this specific client that you're delivering this text to. Okay. Mike, I think I see you in the Q&A in the chat. Let me just make sure I got the same question in both places. I do. Okay, awesome. So then I'll mark that as answer live. So the BCC and the CC fields. Oh yeah, so if I go into, I think what you're asking is if I access it from the deal card and I try to send an email from here. So if I try to send an email from here, it still pops up. So like I said before, regardless of where you're trying to send that, whether it's on the account, the contact, or the deal card level, it will appear. On the actual email section, though, if you're asking in the automation, unfortunately, no, that is not an option. It is an option if you're sending it directly. So if you go into the deal card, click the email and try to send it, you have those CC, BCC options. But unfortunately, from the automation settings, you do not. And hopefully, Mike, hopefully that was what you were referring to. If you have any follow-up questions, just add them there in the chat. Sure. All right. I don't see any more questions at the moment. Oh, actually, hold on. Mike also asked, can we change SMS or email and have them effective existing and in place automations? We are running into updating contact info, but they don't change pipeline cards that are already running. Mike, I may want to follow up with you offline to get some additional clarity on what you're looking for there. Or you can get in touch with your current CSM. But it sounds like if you're trying to make changes to a workflow that's in place, it does update it, but it would only update for future sends, right? So it's not going to impact anything that's already been delivered or anything that's already scheduled. So like I said, we can review that question in more detail and hopefully get a better idea of the feature you're looking for there. Okay. I don't see any other questions in chat at the moment. So then what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to move on to looking at the pipelines module. So let's go back out into pipelines. On pipelines, we've made a number of improvements specifically to some of the filter options for due dates and deal health. The first example, if we go ahead and let's multi-select some of these deal cards. So I have 3 deal cards here. I want to update the due date for all of them to the same date. We have added a new bulk option for adding due date here. So I can mark this as, let's say, April 30th. When I click submit, it is then going to add that due date to all 3 of those cards I have selected. Similarly, we have also added a new bulk edit option for deal health as well. I can mark all 3 of these cards as warm, cool, cold, or leads. So let me go ahead and mark them as warm. When I click submit, we can see that that deal health tag has been added to all 3 of the selected cards. In addition to that, we have also added new filter options for deal health and for due date. If we access the filters over here in the top right side of the screen and scroll down to the designated sections, for due date and for deal health, we have added an additional filter option for non-applicable. Okay. So what that means is that if it is unavailable, if there is no due date, if there is no health added to a deal card, we can filter to show only those opportunities. If they have a due date included, we will not show them using this filter. If they have deal health, we will not show them. Okay. This way you can go through the ones that are perhaps missing a due date and go through and update them. Okay. Any questions? Let me just check real quick. I don't see any questions in chat so far. Awesome. So then next, we're going to go ahead and move on to the pipeline automation. So let's go back into automations here. So one new addition that we've made into the automated workflows, this is specifically for those clients that have Twilio for texting and calling enabled, is the AI voice agent option. So on automations now, if you have Twilio, you can take advantage of the AI voice agent. If we click on this section, that will allow us to select an outgoing voice agent script from the ones we have created, and then deliver it based on a specific trigger schedule within your stages. So from an automated standpoint, it triggers in a lot of the same way as an email, a text message, or a form will. The biggest distinction here is this is limited to Twilio users, and it is based off of the scripts you have added within the template section. And we'll take a little bit of a look at the AI voice agent module here at the end of today's call to show those template improvements that we've made. Okay. So then next up, what we're going to do is we're going to move over to the engagement module real quick. I'm going to click on engagement. Within the engagement module, we're specifically going to look at email campaigns, automation, and single contact drips. One improvement that we've made to the stage builder process is within the body of an email communication, we have added the option for help me write. If you click on this help me write tool, you can add a prompt for the AI tool. When I click create, it's going to take that prompt and generate a message based off of what I've instructed it. Okay. In this case, I gave it a pretty generic instruction to create a standard welcome email communication. So it's come back with client portal access information, dedicated account manager, support team details. You can obviously get much more specific with these prompts. Once it is generated, you can also choose to recreate it or refine the message. If I click on the refine filter, I can shorten the original communication. Then it will think again, and it'll present me with a shorter welcome intro. Again, this specific feature option is available in email campaigns. It is also available when drafting up automation. So let's say I go in and I want to create a customized policy renewal workflow. I can click the customize button. I will do all of my basic workflow details. And then when I click begin to enter the stage editor in the bottom right, I will again find that help me write prompt. And then lastly, for single contact drips, similar process. I access this setting. I click create in the top right corner. And then as I am building out my individual stages, you should see the prompt here in the bottom right to help you draft up this communication. Let me just see real quick. I do see a question in the Q&A. Let me pull that up. Twilio was added by another firm. Is there a way for me to use AI voice with InsuredMine? If you're integrated with Twilio through the InsuredMine platform, you should already have access to AI voice. You absolutely are able to utilize it. It's just a matter of setting it up within your agency. So that's something that's available to any users that have Twilio set up right now. Okay. I don't see any questions on the help me write prompt, so I'm going to go ahead and move over to the opportunities module next. Actually, before that, let's go to task list. I do have one feature to mention in the task list. For this specific item, let me go ahead and open up this existing task. This is an automated task that was dropped in. It's for my test account. What I'm able to do now within task comments is I can tag a specific agent and have them be notified that they have been added to this task comment. Previously, you could add a comment here, but there wasn't the ability to tag somebody like there is on the notes within an encounter contact. Now, I can tag Adam, and he will then receive a notification in his email that he has been tagged in this task. and it'll provide him with a link to open that up within InsuredMine. Okay. So next up, let's go ahead and move over to opportunities. Within opportunities, there are two primary enhancements that we're going to take a look at. The first one is the ability to assign single contract drip campaigns on X dates. So right here, I'm already in the X dates section. If I select the X dates for Leo specifically, I have about 1,800 available options here. I can select as many or as few of these as I would like. So let's just say I want to select this entire page. And then up here at the top, you should now see an option to assign drip campaigns. When I click on assign drip, it's going to pull up a window on the right side of the screen, which prompts me to select the drip template that I've already built. When I select the drip I want to assign, I will click the orange assign button, and it will then add this drip campaign to all of the accounts, all of the contacts I just added. If I go into the contact page here, move under communications, and select the single contact drips, I should see that drip campaign that I just added on here. Okay. This drip functionality is also available on the AI home no auto and auto no home options under opportunities. Unfortunately, I don't have it available to me in our demo portal, so I can't show it to you, but it is the same process. If you click on the auto no home or the home no auto option, select the producer you want to filter by, and then use the checkbox to select all of the accounts you want to add onto that drip before lastly selecting the assign drip option at the top of the screen. In addition, under all sections on the opportunities module for renewals, for X dates, for cross-sell, for monoline, regardless of what section you're in, we have added an additional filter here in the filter options for premium range. If you look at the bottom of this filter list, you'll see a premium range option. I can select, let's just say 250, 5,000. I can set my premium range. I'll click apply, and then the system will remove any results that do not match that premium range filter I just set. In this case, we only have one policy that's renewing within the next 30 days that falls within this premium range. In addition to the filter, we have also added a table column for premium as well. If we click on the table column here, and you'll notice right between policy number and carrier name, I have a premium table column. I will select that checkbox, click apply, and now in my available column options, I have premium. So I can see specifically what premium is associated with each of these upcoming renewals or X dates. Those are the feature updates for the opportunities module. I haven't seen any questions in chat just yet, so I'm going to move us on to, moving us on really to our last module of the day that we're going to take a look at. I do see somebody raise their hand. Siddhartha, if you have something you wanted to ask, you can add it in the chat, or if you have something you want to add. So then let me go ahead and check the Q&A. So I did see a quick question that was added there from Ken Taylor, which is asking how Twilio AI voice agent differs from Slide Broadcast voicemail drops. So, I mean, the biggest distinction is that the voicemail drop is a ringless voicemail, right? It just sends out that prompt. For our AI voice agent, and I'm actually going to open up that module next because that's what we're going to focus on. the AI voice agent can handle both incoming and outgoing conversations based on the scripts that you've applied. For incoming communications, especially, you can see there's a lot of different paths that we can take for managing those calls, redirecting them to the AI voice agent when they come in, using them to answer phone calls when an agent is unavailable or busy, routing those conversations. We can also filter calls based off of a specific account status. So there's a lot of different options for handling inbound calls, but for outgoing calls as well, which is what I'm going to take a look at for the feature release, we can also generate scripts for those conversations when they make those initial touch points. So this one is an example of a cross-sell script that was added here earlier today. So we see have the initial greetings message, which will fill in this detail. We also have the prompt. This is the actual body of the communication that has been sent. And then we have the simple goodbye message. So this is a bit of a more simplified script that we have in here. You can also create your own agents, create your own scripts using this tool. You can even import one that you're already utilizing, or you can import from our existing available templates. So that section here is really what the focus of today's feature release is about. We have added templates into the script section for any number of specific prompts that you can take advantage of. So as an example, I have let's say we looked at that cross-sell one, right? This is a cross-sell script. If I click on view scripts for cross-sell campaigns, I can choose from one of the available options. So let's say I have the cross-sell, let's do home, no auto. Okay. I can click to view the script. I can see the greeting. I can see the prompt. I can see the goodbye message. If I choose to use this template, all I need to do is click the orange use script button, and then that will add it into my roster of available scripts here. Okay. We can also utilize it for renewals, for quoting, for cancellations, or greetings. We can use it for general inquiries as well, for contact website details. And then, like I mentioned before, if you choose not to use one of our templates, you can also create your own agents, your own prompts directly from here. Okay. I do see a question in the chat from Mike. There's an actual conversation that keeps going on, not just a robocall. How would the AI know to end a call if someone turns on? To my knowledge, that for this first release, it's going to stick to the prompts pretty strictly, right? If they indicate interest, it will give them this prompt. If they do not, it will end the call from there, and then it will move on to the goodbye message. Obviously, these are things that will probably be improved upon. This is a very recent release, but from my understanding, at least for the time being, it's going to stick pretty strictly to the script that's added here for it. For the conversation script, Mike, that is going to fall under your call log. So if we go here in the top right corner, we have a section for call history, which you're familiar with probably, voicemail, and then a separate section for the AI voice agent. Any of those calls, any of those conversations will fall under this section here. We can view the transcriptions. We can listen to the recording. All of it will be available here in your call log for you for both incoming and outgoing calls. Greg, sorry to show I missed it. Is it optional feature will be included automatically? So the only kind of limitation to this right now is that it's only available for those that are using Twilio. If you have Twilio texting and calling set up already, you should already have access to the AI voice agent. And Greg, let's assume. Hopefully that answered your question. If you have any follow-up on that, let me know. I think Steven asked, can we see a demonstration of the voice? Unfortunately, not on this call. I can't do a demo from the portal right now. But I think it's going to be the topic of one of our future webinars. So would definitely say be on the lookout for that so we can show you guys a proper demonstration. I just can't do so from the demo portal right now. I think I see Upendra asks, is this for all agents with all voice phone VoIP providers we use, or is this only approved by IM? So yeah, like I said, it's limited today to Twilio users. It's not even an available option for RingCentral and Lightspeed Voice. The voice agent is specifically linked with those that are using Twilio today. So if you don't see the voice agent in your portal and you're using RingCentral or Lightspeed, that's why. It's limited to Twilio at the moment. Okay. I think Leslie also asked if we can hear a preview. Like I said, unfortunately, I can't do a preview for it right now, but would love to do so on a future demo. Maybe when we have a couple people on here so we can show you how that works. The next one is if we use Twilio when a client doesn't pick up, will Twilio read the script and leave it as a voicemail to the clients? Ken, I think you're asking like if you as the agent make a phone call to them. Unfortunately, I don't believe so. If you are actually triggering a call outbound, it would prompt you to leave the voicemail. This is more so for those automated steps and the outgoing conversations that you can initiate. For incoming calls, though, if you do not answer, it can leave a prompt. Okay. Any other questions on either the specific feature release, which again was that template option here and the outgoing message, or on the AI voice agent in general? It seems like we have a lot of curiosity. So like I said, I'm sure this will be a topic on a future webinar so we can flesh this out in much more detail than I'm able to provide today. But I'm excited to see so much interest around this feature. That's awesome. Okay. I don't see anything else in the chat. That is the last feature I have to show you guys today. But before we part ways, there are a few more things I want to show you guys. Firstly, all of the features we talked about today, we have knowledge base articles for in our release notes for the month. If you click on the What's New tab here, top of the screen, you can find the release notes for March and for February simply by clicking on the link here. That will redirect you to our knowledge base, where you can find the articles for each and every one of the features we talked about today. And these are updated each month. In addition to that, let me go ahead and stop share real quick. I'm going to move us over to my point here. So in addition to those knowledge-based articles on the feature releases, we also have our InsuredMine Academy. The InsuredMine Academy is a training course and tutorial for agent and admin certification. We also include courses for each individual agency management systems integration guide, if you want a little context on how those functions work. In order to access it, just scan this QR code with your phone. You'll be redirected to the registration page for the Academy. If you haven't already taken those courses, I do highly suggest it. They're a great resource to help you get started with the InsuredMine platform, or even to refresh on a couple of the features available in our pipelines through engagement and reporting options. Okay. Okay, I think I saw Stanley. I didn't think you said Paula informed you wouldn't be able to add it. Yeah, if the AI voice agent, if the Twilio account is not directly linked to InsuredMine, unfortunately, there's not a way for us to add that AI voice agent component. It has to be linked with InsuredMine specifically. But anyways, so that's the InsuredMine Academy. Hopefully, if anybody wanted to scan that, you guys had an opportunity to do so. I also talked about potential upcoming webinars. Would be great to do one on AI voice agent. But in addition to that, we have other webinars on our schedule. If you want to register for any upcoming sessions, you can use this QR code here to find one that matches what you're looking to look at. I believe, let me just go ahead and check right here. I believe our next webinar is scheduled for the 8th, which is going to go over the AI tools and functionality. Not just AI voice agent, but also all the other things that we can do with AI in the InsuredMine system. I believe that is the topic for our next webinar session. And then lastly, if you guys do have feedback on these webinar sessions, if you just want to provide a little bit of that feedback to us, we'd love to hear what you guys think of these sessions. If you have any ideas for a future webinar, we'd love to see you add it there as well. And then any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to add them to the form as well. So let me see, Stephen, I did see you said you scanned a QR code. If you're having issues accessing it, Paula can reach out to you after the session is over, and she'll help you walk through accessing the Learning Academy. Other than that, I don't see anything else in chat. So what I'll go ahead and say is thank you guys so much for spending this time with me today. I hope you guys took away some good information about our new feature releases and items. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll touch base 2 Wednesdays from now. Have a great one.